Welcome back to Bloodborne. At the end of the last video, I had a particularly embarrassing death at the hands of ghosts and this little bastard. So, I've upgraded my Tonitrus a little bit and reclaimed my rightfully earned 43,000 blood echoes. The ghosts are not too much of a problem if you don't let them crowd you, because they're pretty slow. They walk pretty slow. It's just that they do a lot of damage. So if you get hit by like one or two at a time, you're kind of boned. And speaking of getting hit by one or two at a time, there are a ton of these little helper guys, these floor cleaning gentlemen in this room. So they're little blow dart guns. They don't hurt you all that much, but they do stumble you. Like, no matter what, they will stumble you. So you kind of got to be a little bit careful the order in which you take these guys out, because if you take them out in the wrong order and one of them has an angle on you, yep, not a chance. Not even a chance. Like, that little, like, 0.5 second stun is exactly enough for them to get in a hit on you. I like the design of this area. I mean, I feel like this is a little bit extravagant. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. Like, this is a hell of a library. Like, this library is like the size of an entire building. So, like, you gotta wonder what these people's living quarters look like. There's a couple buildings here in Canehurst that you don't ever actually go into, which is yet another reason why people think there's a lot of cut content regarding Canehurst, but you don't actually explore the whole place. So, oh my. So who knows? These people might have living quarters as extravagant as their giant regal library. I don't know. I don't even know what would be in this library. Just the ancient history of the Bloodborne world, I guess. And to be fair, there is a lot of ancient history in the Bloodborne world. You know, there is a lot of information that certain parties, perhaps involved in the dealings of Canehurst, may want to keep a secret. And I mean, this game so far has been pretty much entirely about arcane knowledge, that which man was not meant to know. So, I guess it would fit if that's what was in all these books. But then again, maybe they're picture books, you know? See dog run. Run, dog, run. See dog gain insight. Dog turns into a Cthulhu. Or, I guess, in this case, an alien. Vampire. You know, I got stuck here in Canehurst on my first playthrough, because I did not realize that in order to progress you have to drop out this window. I noticed the window was open, but like I didn't put two and two together. Like, the window is like perfectly shaped for a Bloodborne protagonist to jump out of it. I just didn't consider, like, oh, maybe this window doesn't lead to a big fall to my death. I was wrong. I was wrong to feel that way. But listen, 99% of the time, this game has pretty good signposting for where you're supposed to go next. However, sometimes it falls into the trapping of you miss, like, the one specific way to go, and then you have to do the Doom thing of, like, rubbing your face all over every wall until you find the correct one. So this is kind of messed up. These ghosts are holding their own heads, and they scream at you. And if you get caught in the AOE, you get immobilized, and then they'll do like a little stab right through your gut. I don't think I get hit by it, but I'm kind of hoping I do, because when you get hit by that stab, like the explosion of blood is just like crazy. But I think it only happens if the ghosts are like angered by the little dark guys. Oh wait, here it comes maybe. Yup, there we go. Ugh, jeez. That kills you in one hit, by the way. Like, even if you have pretty much full health, you will die in one hit to that attack. And hey, look, here it comes. Here it comes again. You might notice that I'm dying a lot in Canehurst. This was the final section of like a 6-hour recording session of this game. Like, I recorded like every episode up until the one that you are currently watching in one afternoon and evening, and I think I recorded this game in like 6 or 7 sessions. And after this, the sessions were a lot shorter, because by this point I had been playing for like 6 hours, and I was just so... I was so exhausted, you know? Like, I was just like, oh, I need to keep up the gimmick, but I'm also so tired. So you'll see that kind of like, for the rest of this episode, I'm pretty much just getting it over with. Like, temporarily, I will be abandoning the gimmick of just kind of walking everywhere, and I will be jogging whenever there's, like, backtracking I need to do. We picked up the Knight set. The Knight set is one of my favorite outfits in the game. It's very, like... It's very distinct in how it's, like, set up, and, like how it looks compared to other armor sets. The whole story of Canehurst is like regal nobility turns into beasts just like everyone else. But man, those people were fashionable. The only problem, I have been mentioning this on and off for this whole Let's Play now, the only problem is that Jill's ponytail clips right through the collar. And that really sucks, because the high ponytail hairstyle does not do that. Oh well. That's not fooling anyone. Get down from there. Come on. So apparently they tried to keep the Beast Plague in Canehurst a secret for a little while after it started. Apparently the Beast Plague broke out in Canehurst at around the same time as it did in Yarnum back in the day. The Canehurst nobles employed knights, such as myself here, to deal with the beasts in secret. But the knights were like just knights in name only. Like, they're not actual like ride into battle on a horse with a transforming blood Zweihander or whatever kind of knights. No, they're just nobles that are wearing armor. But even so, it's pretty good looking armor. I really like this shortcut where like the bookcase slides open like that, because it is about as direct a shortcut as you can get, but it also ties in with the level pretty organically. The only thing that I will say is that it's kind of strange that single ladder is the only way to get up to this floor. Now, there is another entrance into this building from the other side that is blocked off. Like, you just can't get over to that area. But it's a little bit strange that there's this whole area with even more books that you can't actually get to if you live here in Canehurst without going, like, outside the building and going around to, you know, to operate the staircase. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, it flows really well, like, level-wise, but, like, from a logistics perspective, maybe they didn't think through this place when they were building it. The Canehurst nobles, I mean, not the developers of Bloodborne. Man, even the ceiling is detailed in here. That's something that I gotta applaud the developers of Bloodborne for, is they do what a lot of video game developers don't do, and they detail the ceilings of their interior locations. Like, if you look up in a lot of video games, what you will see is just like a boring concrete square. Because, like, people who play video games, they don't look up very often. But, like, games like Bloodborne and the Dark Souls series, they encourage you to look up and take stock of your surroundings. So they detail the ceilings and stuff, and it's very novel. I don't know. So we picked up the Knight's Wig, which is, I don't know if I put it on, but it is the best stupid tiny hat, and I love it. Like, I really enjoy when these games have completely ridiculous pieces of clothing that you have no reason to wear, like a sack over your head, or a tiny, tiny hat. Oh, am I gonna put it on? Yeah, there we go. Look at this stupid tiny hat. It makes Jill's ponytail white, so that's kind of neat. Oh, look at the snow blowing off of the building. Like, oh, that's such good detail. And like the water shimmering over there. So I took off the Knight set here. The Knight set has high resistance to I believe blood defense, like blood attacks. But that's actually not super useful for this area. A lot of the enemies do arcane damage, so the Executioner set is a lot better. And you know what? That makes sense. Oh god, this is precarious. That kind of makes sense because, I mean, why would you defend against, like, you know, like they basically matched their own defenses. Like the Executioners were like arcane users, and the Vile Bloods were blood users, so, you know, it makes sense that that's what their equipment would specialize in. Anyway, welcome to the tippy top of Canehurst. We are getting a nice view of our surroundings here. Beautiful, beautiful view. Like, look at this framing. Look at that framing. The moon is like perfectly in view here. Oh, and the fire is blowing in the wind. I love this game, man. The attention to detail is amazing. And hey, look, looks like someone friendly is up here waiting for us. Someone friendly. A friend. Uh-oh. Hey, we're fighting Martyr Logarius, the leader of the Executioners, because, I mean, I guess he didn't see my clothes. Obviously, he doesn't know that I'm friendly to him. Martyr Logarius is one of the hardest bosses that we have available to fight right now. First and foremost, because as you can see, I am doing virtually no damage to him with my most powerful weapon. But also, he does a lot of damage, and he's got a lot of attacks that just kind of like knock you around like a pinball. So you kind of got to be careful. Martyr Logarius is a good example of this game's open-endedness, because this boss is definitely too hard for me to fight right now. Like, Martyr Logarius is way harder than Canehurst, the area, and so if you approach this guy as early as you can possibly fight him, good luck. Also, I like that he destroyed his own throne. Where's he gonna sit now after he kicks my ass? Yep. See, that's what happens when you try to get sneaky with backstabs. You pay for it. So this is why I'm wearing the Executioner set, is because all of these big exploding skull attacks, they do arcane damage. So this fight is interesting. There is a lot of cut content that was recently discovered in Bloodborne, thanks to data mining, being like finally a real thing you can do with the PS4. And originally, Martyr Ligarius was replaced by a totally different boss. We were originally going to fight the King of Canehurst here, but eventually the concept of that boss evolved into Ligarius, and I think it's fine. I think it's kind of cool. After this boss fight, a bonus feature is going to pop up explaining who this guy is and the story of the Vile Bloods and Executioners that I started on in the last episode. And you should definitely watch it, because I really, really like the little side story between the Executioners and the Vile Bloods. So this fight has two phases. In the first phase, he will mostly focus on his spells, like shooting the skulls at you and being defensive and stuff. But once you get to the second phase at about like a third of his health, he'll start being a little bit more proactive. And that's when this fight gets dangerous, because that sword there that looks suspiciously like a sword from Demon's Souls is that thing will tear you apart. Also, he can do this. That big sword there will just start firing swords at you like arrows until you take care of it. I really like this boss. It is chaotic. This is a chaotic fight. And like, the way that I decided to go about this was through parrying, but like trying to fight him without like exploiting the parries and stuff is really fun. It's very hectic. Especially once he starts jumping around everywhere. Oh! Oh. This is a really good boss fight. Like, I mentioned this during the Gascoigne boss fight, but like, fights that are just you versus one person, mano a mano, are what this game excels at. And like, Martyr Ligarius is a good example. Because this boss fight is totally fair, if you're prepared for it enough. He does a lot of damage, but like, you're not really supposed to fight him when I'm fighting him right now. But like, it's cool because even though I'm not prepared, if you're good enough at the game, you can still beat him, because it's fair to the player. It's really nice. I really like this fight. Also, you can parry that jumping attack he does there, and it feels really good when you do it. It's a very good, like, oh yeah, type of moment. Oh god, that was so close. A lot of close calls in this fight. Say goodnight, Martyr Ligarius. Good game, buddy. You tried your best. He put up a good fight. I guess now he really is a martyr. I mean, good for him, I guess. Well, I guess that's it for Canehurst. Let's head back to the dream and... Oh. He dropped his hat. Cool. I'll wear his hat. Sure, why not? Alright. I'm just going to assume you watched the bonus feature. But in case you didn't watch the bonus feature, the Crown of Illusions was a magic crown belonging to the nobility of Canehurst that hid secrets from unsuspecting visitors. And hey, who knows? We may just uncover some of those secrets by walking over to where he was sitting. Would you look at that? There's a whole other building here. Man. These Canehurst nobles are sneaky. And also they're big fans of horses. I don't know what's up with all the statues. They just enjoy putting statues everywhere. I guess when you have a limited space to place stuff down, you gotta really make economic use of space. I mean, nobody's gonna walk over to that corner. Might as well put a horse statue there. It's like it's a tower defense game or something. Ugh.
I claim no subjects, but here lieth our throne. Kneel afore us, or get thee gone.
Well, well. It seems that one member of the Vile Bloods still remains. And I bet that if we don't kneel afore her, she's gonna keep telling us to get thee gone, so let's chat her up, shall we? Greetings. I'm here to serve.
Moon-scented hunter.
Moon-scented, huh?
I am Annalise, Queen of Castle Canehurst. Ruler of the Vile Bloods, and sworn enemy of the Church. Yet our people are murdered, and we are prisoner to this wretched mask. What is it thou art in search of?
I guess I'll swear my oath to the Vile Bloods. Hell, we're joining everyone's covenant. So I guess we may as well. Eventually.
Well, well. An odd hunter thou art indeed. We've tired of these piteous nights. Share in our plight, and take oath against the Church. If thou wouldst this path walk, I prithee, partake of my rotted blood.
I mean, we just met. I don't really know you that well.
Drink
Okay.
of our blood. Feel the spreading corruption burn. Now, thou art too a vile blood. We too, the very last on this earth.
All right then. We have earned the Canehurst badge and the corruption rune, and now we're infected with vile blood. We can offer the queen, Annalise, blood dregs collected from PvP opponents to help keep her alive and propagate the vile blood line. We're not going to do that, because mostly I just wanted to join to have her stuff, but, well, we're a vile blood now, so, enjoy being a vampire, Jill.
We await thy return, for the honor of Canehurst.
Honor, for the honor of Canehurst. Great. Hey, you don't mind if I take this, do you? I mean, it's just sitting here. Huh. Well, I guess if we want to give that to our friend Alfred sometime, I guess we can do that. I don't know if he'll be all that happy about what has happened to Logarius and the continued existence of Queen Annalise, but hey, if we cross paths again, I guess maybe I'll give it to him. Meanwhile, back at the Hunter's Dream, I have 94,000 echoes that I probably should spend before I lose them like an idiot. Greetings.
Welcome home, good hunter. What is it you desire? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes.
So at this point, I'm pretty much just going to keep leveling what I was leveling. We're going to put a couple of points into Blood Tinge and Arcane first, because it will allow me to use some of the more fun hunter tools. So after this, we're going to keep focusing on...
Hunters have told me about the church, but I would you, of course...
Yeah. Already heard this dialogue,
Farewell,
doll.
good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
Anyway, gonna keep focusing on health and endurance and stuff a little bit later, but putting just a few points into those stats is gonna help a lot with the stuff that I can show off. I'm really not sure what I want to upgrade at this point, really, because there's a lot of possibilities. This is kind of the part where you have the most possibilities for upgrading your equipment on a normal playthrough, because, I mean, we got a lot of chunks from Canehurst, so we have quite a few opportunities available to us, and we're getting some pretty good blood gems to boot. So it's worth it to visit Canehurst as early as possible so that you open up your opportunities for stuff like blood gems and bloodstone chunks and blood, everywhere blood, always blood with these people. For picking up the Canehurst badge from Queen Annalise, who I am going to remain distant friends with, we have unlocked the Chikage. I don't use the Chikage because I'm not really a Blood Tinge character, but it's basically a katana that transforms into a blood magic katana. So if you're into that, it's a really cool weapon, and I highly recommend it. We also have unlocked the beautiful Evelyn pistol, as well as the actual Canehurst armor worn by Vileblood knights who fought the executioners, instead of the noble knights. We already have a copy of the Evelyn, but I need a little bit more blood tinge to use it. Evelyn, of course, being a reference to the crossbow Evelyn from the Souls series, named after a beautiful woman and all that stuff, which is true. I can verify. It is, in fact, named after a beautiful, beautiful woman. We're going to spend the rest of this episode talking to people, pretty much, so let's chat with our friends, see how they're doing after our exploits at Canehurst.
Oh, you. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't help. Unless you've had a change of heart.
Sure. I will accept your blood. Hey.
Come close, dear. I'm always happy to help.
What is Adela doing back there? You see her back there? Was she watching that happen? Huh. Weird.
There you are. You're early, dear. Is
What?
anything the matter? You can always tell me. Mother will make everything better.
Lady.
What's wrong? Anything you'd like to tell me?
I have my share of woes. It's a crazy, crazy world out there.
You poor thing. But don't be worried. This will help you forget. Forget your troubles. Forget your cares.
Thanks, I think.
Oh, what is it, dear? Are you in a bind again?
If you have more sedatives to give, I guess. Is it... This lady's a little different than last time we spoke. I don't know if I like this. I don't know. Maybe she's just old.
You poor thing. But don't you worry. This'll help you forget. Forget your troubles. Forget your cares.
So we can keep taking sedatives from her. We probably shouldn't do it forever, but she'll keep giving them to us. Not like we have any use for them right now. Sedatives cure a status effect that I don't think we've seen yet, but yeah, this old lady seems to be negatively affected by the things that have happened in Yharnam of late. I mean, I guess I can't blame her. Not everybody can take the insane shit that we've been seeing. Aliens, blood magic, corpses coming back to life, brain suckers. Things in Yharnam are not good yet, at the moment. I have a feeling they're not going to get any better as the night goes on either. How about you? How are you doing? Have you also gone insane?
I'll spare you one nugget of advice. Beware the Lady of the Night. I can see it in her eyes. She deeply resents the young saint. She hears people whisper. She knows what people think of her. Yes. She despises the saint for having what she doesn't. Bloody wench, they should have moved her on ages ago.
Seems to me it's the other way around, but
I'll spare you
okay.
one nugget of advice. Beware the blind man. There the beggar sits at the bottom of the bloody food chain, and then he's here acting like he owns the place. He's not to be trusted. What's he want with all those people anyway? That little weasel has a murky past, I'm telling you.
I don't know, he's been pretty nice to me so far.
Give it a rest, please. I've no time for your petty lies. And what? Just go away now. I can't stand the stench of your lying breath.
So this dim-witted gentleman is his gimmick is that he always gives the opposite advice of the truth. How's it going, Adela?
Thank the gods you're safe. Do you wish to be treated with blood? Or am I unworthy of your attention?
Oh, I see how it is. She's jealous. Oh, I see. Alright, well,
Brave hunter, I pray for your safety.
thanks. Let's maybe not get too close to Ariana while Adela is peeking in on us, because I have a feeling that she won't take too kindly to being ignored. So we've got a little bit of running around here to do in Cathedral Ward. We've got a summons to give to our friend Alfred. I don't remember if I do that or not in this episode. To be honest, I'm not sure if I really want to do it because, like, I mean, he's just gonna get himself killed, to be honest. He's doing pretty good so far. I mean, Alfred's been doing pretty good at surviving. It's just that, you know, maybe having him interact with the supposedly immortal Queen of the Vile Bloods is a bad idea. No, we're gonna go in the opposite direction of the Grand Cathedral, because we've gone over there to the left to Hemwick, but I don't think I've gone over there to the right yet. In fact, I believe I haven't. Over there on the right, we've got what is going on with that guy's lantern? That guy is shooting magic out of eyeballs in his lantern. Does the lantern have insight? Oh my. Things in Yharnam are getting a little bit dire at this point. I would very much like to leave and go home now. I have a feeling that now that we're going to become a vampire thanks to the Vile Blood stuff, things aren't going to go so well for us. In fact, I believe I have actually gone over here. I believe I've taken care of these guys. These two hunters. Yeah, okay. Right, I remember now. There was a locked door over here that we haven't examined yet. Oh! Oh my, let's not go in that house. Oh, this is not good. Oh, this is really not good. I'm kind of glad that we rescued people when we did, because now that it is properly nighttime, I have a feeling that pretty much everyone in Yharnam is a beast now. Oh boy. I don't know why there are so many voice lines for just those two doors. I don't get it. So you may remember that in the last episode, I think, we went to talk to Gilbert, but instead of talking to Gilbert, there was a mysterious third party at his window who gave us a tonsil stone. I think I went into depth on it a little bit, but the tonsil stone is a pretty important key item. The man in question said that if we go to the right side of the Grand Cathedral, we may have a revelation. So who knows? Maybe the tonsil stone is the key to this locked door over here. Maybe we will finally find our way into the last section of Yharnam that we supposedly have not been to yet. Nope, still locked. Oh wait, oh no!
Have mercy on the poor bastard.
Oh, this is bad. So when we left off of our story time in the previous episode, the executioners had decided to storm Canehurst Castle and cleanse it of the nobles and their infected bloodline. At first, it was going well for them. The bridge leading to Hemwick was destroyed by either them or the Vilebloods, and they slaughtered the nobles in numbers. The Canehurst Knights, serving under Queen Annalise, fought back with their, edgelord blood magic katanas, and the battle became much more evenly matched. However, the Canehurst Knights lacked the sheer brutality of Logarius and his followers, and they were quickly overwhelmed. The executioners, executed any nobles they came across, Vileblood or no. So many were killed in cold blood during the battle that they sprung back up as ghosts, eternally haunting the castle with their cries. Unable to rest, for reasons we're just about to get into, the Vilebloods attempted to stop the executioners from getting to the throne room, but it was too late. Logarius had slipped past them. There, he discovered that their crusade was incompletable. They'd even killed the king and stolen his crown of illusions, which was imbued with arcane magic that dispelled illusions set by the magic's practitioners. Logarius had done all he could. One Vileblood survived the onslaught, owed to the simple fact that absolutely nothing could kill her. The Queen of Canehurst, Annalise, had been rendered completely immortal by the blood she'd absorbed. So he was stuck. The executioners couldn't complete their mission to annihilate the Vilebloods because Annalise couldn't die. No amount of trying would do him any good. So, he took the easy option, and used the king's crown against them. With the king's crown in hand, he was able to seal away the royal chamber and just, stay put. He forced an iron mask over Annalise's face to keep her from sharing the blood and making any more Vilebloods. And that was the end of it. Over the long period of time between then and when we found him, he sat there in front of the chamber, guarding it with the intent of presumably staying there forever. Thus, Master Ligarius became Martyr Ligarius in the eyes of the executioners, who considered their assault on Cainhurst a success, even though the Vilebloods were technically still living. Cainhurst became trapped in time. The ghosts couldn't die, Annalise can't die, and it's constantly snowing, seemingly unstuck from the natural weather of Yharnam. And at this point you're probably thinking, why the hell is Annalise immortal? Obviously, taking on the tainted blood itself is not what did it. No, Annalise has to be special in some way. And in the next bonus feature of this very episode, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Stay tuned. The question of why exactly Annalise is immortal comes up a lot. Cainhurst is full of living creatures, although for some of them, I don't think I'd call whatever they've been turned into living in any sense. But she's very explicit about being the last surviving Vileblood. It seems the executioners were very thorough in their slaughter when they stormed the castle. To answer the question of how she survived while her followers and even the king did not, we have to go back a long way. In episode 12, I mentioned that we may see remnants of the Pthumerian line carrying on into the modern era in Bloodborne. Their race is long gone, exterminated by mysterious means that may or may not have something to do with a certain beast plague, but their influence is still present, here and there. With Cainhurst specifically, though, there are more than a few comparisons to be made. Here I'm going to use some inside baseball to show you a comparison between Pthumerians, Queen Yharnam specifically, and the Vilebloods as we know them today. So with that said, it's time to finally show you what's at the bottom of the Chalice dungeons. You're given one hell of a runaround, being sent all over Bloodborne's game world to collect these chalices and use them to travel farther and farther out of Yharnam and into the cursed lands of Iz, the Hintertombs, and Ailing Loran. You can't complete the Chalice dungeons until you're near the very end of the game, and even then it's still a hefty challenge. But when you do get to the bottom of the Pthumeru dungeons, what you come to find may not be what you're expecting. It's Queen Yharnam, or at least a phantom of whatever remains of her. The Chalice dungeons are pretty explicitly unstuck from time, sending you all over Bloodborne's history to previous beast plague outbreaks and so on. As far as anyone can tell, this isn't the real Queen Yharnam, considering your goal is to kill her, but that's not the point of showing footage of her here. Observe her skin and hair color, the way she uses blood magic to fight you. The Vilebloods as we know them are characterized by their pallid skin, sunken faces, and, ability to wield blood as a weapon. Even the Shadows of Yharnam use similar weapons. But it goes deeper than that. We know, as I've talked about in other bonus features, that Queen Yharnam served as a medium between the Pthumerians and the Great Ones of their age. But we also know from a certain umbilical cord I picked up and stuffed into my pockets that every Great One seeks a child and a child-bearer, but ultimately the child is lost. As you can pretty plainly tell, Queen Yharnam is pregnant. And that's critically important for later on in the Let's Play, so don't forget it. The comparison to Cainhurst here, though, is that Annalise too seeks an heir. Your goal, as I mentioned in this episode, is to find blood dregs by hunting down your fellow, hunters. These blood dregs are a maybe not so subtle indicator of what Annalise will be using them for. Her goal is to carry on the Vileblood lineage by producing a purebred virgin birth Vileblood, which is a frightening concept in itself, but it gets worse. Consider where the tainted blood came from. I haven't really talked about its origins because I'm a jerk, and I'm saving the big reveal for when it will be the most dramatic. At this point, though, I think you can guess exactly how the Pthumerian lineage has been carried on from Bloodborne's past into Bloodborne's present. So the going theory is that the Cainhurst nobles are descendants of Pthumerians, and the blood Annalise is trying to take into herself to create an heir is also Pthumerian. But none of this explains why Annalise is immortal, so here's my attempt to tie it all together. The tainted blood had very strange effects on the people of Canehurst, transforming them into blood-hungry vampires and an entirely different brand of beast than what we've seen so far. Their lineage has more than a little to do with that. Remember that the tainted blood was given to Annalise first, and then spread from her to the rest of the nobility. And then consider this. If giving her the old blood directly made her immortal because of her pre-existing parentage, could that mean that Queen Yharnam herself is still out there too? Hey, it's the Chikage! We unlocked the Chikage by joining the Vile Bloods. It is the Vile Blood's staple weapon used by Canehurst knights to protect the nobles from beasts and, in one specific case, executioners. Not so useful as a weapon in that case, but here it's very effective. It's kind of chewing through these guys because on this save file I have it upgraded to plus 10, because it's what this character used. The Chikage is a sort of a katana, it's mostly a katana, that does big swiping motions, but it also has a couple of like stabs and pokey attacks that make it pretty versatile. In the untransformed mode, it's pretty much just a standard weapon, but transformed, it has a really interesting gimmick that is almost unique were it not for the executioner weapon. Because you see, the Vile Bloods specialize in blood magic, which means that we can use the Chikage to channel blood magic of our own. Transforming the Chikage, you may notice in the top left, makes you automatically drain health. And it's so powerful that it can hit people through the floor, apparently. And you don't gain that health back. That health is not added as rally health that you can restore by hitting enemies. No, it's draining my life at a pretty steady rate here, which is alright because it transforms the damage type into blood damage, which a lot of enemies are weak to, in addition to just doing more damage overall. The Chikage excels at beating up groups, as you can see here. The wide sweeping motions, especially in the transformed mode, are very good at hitting lots of enemies at once. And it's also really good for trading blows, because if you start your swing first, it's most likely going to hit the enemy. So, hey. Chikage is pretty useful. It's a really good weapon and I like it a lot. The Executioner weapon is equally fun, but we'll see that in a couple episodes' time.